Tonight, a new problem with LRT has transit users once again taking a back seat to repairs. Worsening traffic in the capital, and the latest data finds that Wednesday is the busiest. Plus, downtown Ottawa businesses reporting break-ins as several in Ontario look to invest in bulletproof glass. Good evening. Mounting frustration tonight as transit users react to new trouble on the tracks. OC Transpo warns that LRT density is likely to build because some cars have to be taken out of service immediately, which will greatly impact Line 1. OC Transpo says the problem is happening inside a wheel component. They say it's called spalling, meaning small pits on the cartridge bearing can grow over time, and if it isn't fixed, it can lead to cracks or even a failure. So now vehicles with more than 100,000 kilometers are being pulled from service because flakes were breaking off. The transit service doesn't know if this is related to the other axle bearing issues that were discovered that did in fact lead to a derailment in 2021 and a long shutdown of the Confederation line in 2023.
At those peak times, there's going to be an impact in terms of the capacity, and that's why we're here to talk to our customers about, the fact that, the platforms will be busier at those key times. They will see a combination of single and double car trains, and some customers may have to wait for a second train. They may not be able to access the first train, and that's not acceptable. I appreciate that our customers will, I think frustrating is maybe putting it mildly. I think our customers will be upset with this.
OC Transpo says it is too early to say when the cars will be put back into service, but they want transit users to know the schedule will not change. But with less cars available, the ones in use will be more crowded. This is now a compounding issue because the bus fleet is aging out and there are less available to put on the roads. So when it comes to replacement buses that generally run when the O train is down, OC Transpo can't really rely on it either. The execs just recently announced they would be canceling hundreds of trips until they can find a solution to that issue. Earlier today, Mayor Mark Sutcliffe gave his State of the City address and said they are working to improve reliability, but it will take time.
We purchased 300 electric buses. They're arriving in Ottawa week by week, month by month. We don't have all of them yet. So it's not an issue of money. It's not an issue of investment. It's a logistical issue around receiving the buses. We need to hire more mechanics, and there's a plan to do that as well.
The mayor says transit is being treated as an urgent priority. We have extended coverage of the problems plaguing public transit here in the nation's capital. Just head to our website, ctvnewsottawa.ca. Winter can be a terrible time for transit users waiting in the cold at bus stops. And as Jackie is about to tell us, we are in the depths of winter this week. Jackie.
Well, we've got another round of snow making its way to here in Ottawa. It has prompted a snowfall or a snow squall warning, rather, with the blowing snow. So we are anticipating between 2 to 5 centimeters overnight for Ottawa. In the Kingston area, a snowfall warning still in effect. When all is said and done, up to 15 centimeters of snow is on its way. And this is what it's really looking like, the bulk of it coming between 12 and 3 a.m. By 7 a.m., it should clear, but don't be surprised for the fresh batch of snow on the ground. You could likely clear it, though, because we are expecting light flurries throughout most of our Thursday. Current temperatures right now overnight will be about -3, but it will cool down to -9 by tomorrow. More details in just a bit. Stefan.
Thank you, Jackie. Taking a live look at the Queensway right now, we're going to echo Jackie with the snow squall watch. So those behind the wheel tonight are being reminded to drive for the conditions. Also, if you are heading west towards Kingston or the Toronto area, you could be facing detours. At last check, a crash near Joyceville had closed all lanes in that direction along the 401. But as CTV's Tyler Fleming is about to tell us, traffic here in the capital is seemingly getting worse, with Wednesday being the busiest commute day.
Ottawa drivers are losing days of their lives stuck in traffic.
It's awful. I try to take the Queensway, but it's a mess most times.
The witching hours, morning and evening commutes when many are getting to and from work. Dino Bellavia uses roads less traveled, but still.
It's about the same amount of time. At least I'm moving, though, you know?
New data from mapping company TomTom shows overall the Wednesday commute at 4 p.m. is the worst. But Tuesday and Thursday afternoons aren't much better. Midweek motorists can expect a 10-kilometer trip to take nearly 30 minutes.
It is frustrating. Stuck in traffic. You wonder what's going on, Sometimes you don't see any construction, you don't see any accidents. It's just volume, I guess. Maybe the roads can't handle it.
This past summer, major construction projects across the city, including the Queensway, didn't help.
It just seems to get worse and worse.
Especially as more public and private sector workers make the return to office.
And particularly with the bus services and subways not running properly, right? People are nervous to take them, so therefore more cars on the street, right?
It was slow on King Edward, and I was a little surprised that it was 9:30, so usually I can sail through.
And travel times are ticking up. Last year, Ottawa drivers lost nearly 3 days in rush hour traffic. Gridlock that's eating into downtime and wearing on people's nerves. But we're all in this together.
Try not to lose your temper.
Very difficult, but with my daughter beside me most of the time, I just manage my way.
Almost all of us.
Well, I'm retired, so I'm very happy to be retired.
Tyler Fleming, CTV News.
Turning now to the impaired driving trial of Ottawa Councillor Matthew Luloff. His lawyer arguing today key evidence should be tossed out, alleging his client's charter rights were breached. Here's CTV's Katie Griffin.
Hey, Councillor, anything you can say?
As the impaired driving trial for Ottawa Councillor Matthew Luloff wraps up, his defense lawyer argued that Luloff's blood alcohol level readings and what he said to a breath technician in the Ottawa police cell block should be tossed over 7 alleged charter breaches.
The essence is, firstly, that the driver was not identified that night by a person who was following them, and that Mr. Luloff was then subject to an arrest by the police on his own property without any warrant, was denied rights to counsel, and taken to the station and underwent a series of tests.
Among the alleged breaches, Lawrence Greenspon told the judge officers only told Luloff they were investigating a traffic complaint and not an impaired driver, delayed his rights to counsel, and forgot to read a demand for a breath sample until he got to cell block.
These charter breaches in my submission to the judge are such that the evidence should be excluded and the charges should be dismissed.
Luloff has pleaded not guilty to 1 count of operating a vehicle while impaired and 1 count of having a blood alcohol concentration above 80 milligrams per 100 milliliters 2 hours after ceasing to operate a vehicle. The witness who called 911 in July 2024 testified she saw a dark Jeep swerving all over the road, hitting the curb like a bumper car. The Crown pushed back on the defense's position that there was no evidence proving Luloff was the one behind the wheel. Julian Dowler telling the judge, "You'll recall that the breath tech asked at one point, was there any collision involved in your drive home? The answer was no. Implicit in that answer is an acknowledgement that he was driving." Katie Griffin, CTV News.
2 dogs died in a house fire in Ottawa's West End this morning. The 911 call came in just before 9 a.m. reporting smoke in a townhouse unit on Draper Avenue. The fire started in the kitchen and firefighters say they were able to stop it from spreading. They report 2 large dogs, each weighing 100 pounds, were found unresponsive inside the home and died from their injuries. 3 people will have to find somewhere else to live for the time being. Also, you may have noticed several Ottawa police vehicles driving around downtown Ottawa and on Sussex Drive today. The service was conducting the training exercises which prepare officers for escorting dignitaries around the capital during special events.
Connecting Ottawa to Montreal in an hour, that is game-changing.
Coming up, why some are expecting a slow process as high-speed trains go through public consultations.
You're watching CTV News at 11:30 with Stefan Keys.
Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Skycam. It is -5 out there right now. Factor in that wind chill. Environment Canada says it feels more like -11. And it's time now for a closer look at the forecast. Here's Jackie.
Well, we have periods of light snow moving through the region, and this will likely take place through the overnight hours. It will likely clear by Thursday morning, but don't be surprised if you have to dust off the snow off your vehicles and the roads as well. Keeping in mind that there is a snow squall warning in effect for most of eastern Ontario. This should lift by the early hours of tomorrow morning, but again, we are anticipating between 3 to 5 centimeters of snow. The overnight temperatures, well, -6 for those overnight flurries. We are getting to a daytime high about -3 for tomorrow, but this will be in the early morning. As the afternoon continues, we are going to see temperatures drop as we do get cooler temperatures moving in to the region. Now, tonight's lows across eastern Ontario will be between -4 and -6, but we could already see the temperature dropping in the valley between -8, -9 degrees. This will be much similar for tomorrow's daytime highs, much cooler as we make our way to west of Ottawa. So -5 in Pembroke, -7 in Bancroft, but here in Ottawa will be -3, -5 along the Seaway. But again, these daytime highs will be closer to the early part just before noon, and then it is going to start dropping temperature-wise. Now, taking a look here, -3 will go down to -14 getting into Friday. We're only getting to a daytime high about -13 for our Friday, and that's when the cooler air will start to linger here in Ottawa. -29 the overnight into our Saturday, -30 the overnight into Sunday, with daytime highs only getting to about -18.
Thanks, Jackie. Public consultations on the proposed high-speed rail line are officially underway. It's a chance to ask questions and learn about potential locations for a new train station in Ottawa. A map on Alto's website shows the proposed route for the high-speed rail that will eventually run between Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and Quebec City. Here's CTV's Kimberly Fowler.
I was just really curious how they're going to try and stick handle around some of the issues of construction.
Gord Bolton made the trip from Kingston to Ottawa for this information session on Canada's proposed high-speed railway.
A lot of people in our area sold their property to the Nature Conservatory with the idea that nothing was ever going to be built on this property. And now it appears like possibly that's going to be flipped.
Others are interested in the potential environmental and economic factors that come with the new route.
We need to design for all users, and that includes not just the human users. We need to make sure that the corridor includes wildlife crossings.
It would change the way that people can kind of do business, I think, at least in Eastern Canada.
Alto, the Crown corporation behind the ambitious project, starting a series of public open house consultations this week about the high-speed rail link.
We want to know what residents from Ottawa wants from the project. We have a whole team that is here to explain what's the scope of the project, how we're going to develop the corridor, a station location, what criteria we're going to use, and really to listen.
The proposed corridor between Toronto and Quebec City will have several stops. Construction on the first section between Ottawa and Montreal could start as early as 2029 and open around 2037.
We're talking about Ottawa to Toronto in under 2 hours, connecting Ottawa to Montreal in an hour. That is game-changing.
The Tremblay Station and current Via Rail Station located southeast of downtown Ottawa, and the city's original downtown Union Station, now the Senate of Canada building, have been floated as possible locations for the capital's high-speed terminal.
As much as I see the appeal of rebuilding Union Station, I'm not sure the additional cost justifies it. At the same time, I'm not sure if O Train Line 1 provides enough capacity for the ridership that Alto will see.
Alto says ultimately the Ottawa hub will be placed in the best location for the city.
Connectivity is really important, and that's why we're working really closely, regardless of what option we end up going with. We're working really closely with the City of Ottawa.
Kimberly Fowler, CTV News.
It does impact our mental health in a day that, we're not safe at the end of the day.
Coming up, break-in problems in the Byward Market has business owners speaking out.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
A break-in at a Byward Market cafe caught on security cameras, renewing concerns about safety in the area. CTV's Caitlin Wilson has more.
When I came here, I saw that, oh, something is wrong with this door over here. And then if you come outside, you will see that the handle was taken away. And we usually have
It's the moment Nadine Opane realized something wasn't right when she opened Beans and Barrels Cafe Tuesday afternoon.
Our PO system over there was not the way that it was supposed to be there. Our cash drawer was not there as well.
That's when she checked the security cameras and saw this.
The cash itself was $1,500 Canadian.
The footage shows two individuals ripping the till from the computer before taking off with the cash inside just before 6 o'clock in the morning.
Usually there's only one person working here at our cafe. It does impact our mental health in a day that, oh, we're not safe at the end of the day.
The break-in comes as the past year has seen a number of businesses in the Byward Market close, some citing safety concerns. According to the Ottawa Police Service online crime map, there have already been 2 break-ins this year, along with more than a dozen reported petty thefts in the area.
Not just in the market, right? It's Centertown, Sandy Hill, Beacon Hill. Anywhere where you have a lot of retail, we are hearing more and more of these kinds of problems.
Morning, everyone.
Late last year, Mayor Mark Sutcliffe announced a $1 million pilot project to hire private security in the market, while police say they've also increased their presence. But for staff here, Nadini says, especially at night and early morning hours, more visible checks could make a difference.
I know that their resources are limited at the end of the day, but I feel like as a small business, it would really mean a lot for us if they could come to us and check up on us.
Police say they are investigating. The cafe is hoping to reopen before the weekend. Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
Sticking with the issue of businesses feeling targeted by crime, apparently the issue of gun violence in the Greater Toronto area is so bad, even homeowners in that part of the province are starting to invest in bulletproof glass. CTV's Pat Foran reports.
Following an increase in break-ins, Metalex Security Products developed rock glass, which it claims is 200 times stronger than regular glass. You can't break it with a baseball bat. After a rise in drive-by shootings and extortion attempts in the GTA, the company says it's developed bulletproof ballistic glass. Tom Reimer says there's a growing demand for it.
Will this stop a bullet?
Absolutely. Reimer says customers purchasing bulletproof glass for their homes have been victims of extortion attempts or are worried they could be.
What do? Are you going to move, or are you going to do something about it and you're going to be proactive? So that's where the ballistic comes in. And I hate to see it, but it's here. So we're heading into the gun range now.
We asked Rylan Morey at the Gagnon Shooting Center in Oshawa to fire at the bulletproof glass to see how it would handle the impact.
It is a 9mm pistol. It's a pretty fancy one, considering that it's not exactly what most of the criminals are carrying these days.
Once the bulletproof glass was put in position, Morey was ready to shoot. Then it was time to see how the ballistic glass held up.
Stop it! Sure did. I'm so happy that it's done what it's supposed to do. This is ballistic 9mm glass, 3/4 inch, retrofit. It hung into the frame, no movement there.
This does a more than a good job of stopping that for sure.
Now this is something you hope you don't need.
No, but for some people in the community, it is something that they feel they need, and we're here to help out.
Outfitting a home with bulletproof glass could cost thousands of dollars, but Reimer says for some families or businesses, it may make them feel safer and give them peace of mind. Pat Foran, CTV News.
It doesn't surprise me because you talk to people and see how lonely they are.
Still to come, marking Bell Let's Talk Day with a focus on seniors, why isolation is becoming increasingly worrisome for baby boomers.
You're watching CTV News at 5 with Stefan Keys.
Welcome back. On this Bell Let's Talk Day, a new survey finds many seniors are experiencing loneliness or a high risk of social isolation. But in this city, there are services that remind us keeping your mind healthy doesn't always require a therapist. CTV's Peter Sperling reports.
And this one will be red.
Michelle Goslin started coming to the Good Companion Seniors Centre to get out of the house, learn new activities, and make friends.
I quite a few friends. And I met my future wife.
We started dating each other, and here we are. 3 years later, we're engaged to get married.
Seniors take part in various programming, from crafts, fitness classes, music, and just being social.
It's really good.
But a growing number of older Canadians have a less positive outlook. The National Institute on Aging surveyed thousands of people 50 plus and found optimism about getting older fell from 62% in 2024 to 57% in 2025. Another 57% also reported experiencing loneliness, with 43% at risk of social isolation.
Not too surprised. We often hear that from our members and our clients that we serve in the community. They're often looking to us as a very important safe haven for their community, their friendships that have been built here over the years, and how meaningful it is for them to come to a safe place.
It reflects very much what our membership is saying.
This seniors advocacy organization says more needs to be done.
As the study pointed out, one of the issues is affordability. The increased cost of everything from healthcare to transportation to housing to groceries is actually preventing a lot of Canadians, a lot of older Canadians, from participating in social activities that would actually benefit their health and well-being.
And it suggests proper investments in programs.
Public pensions, ensuring that the affordability crisis is dealt with, ensuring that there is a way to provide the necessary health care, both primary care, long-term care, and home care.
Back at the Good Companions, words of wisdom for anyone wanting to get involved.
Just find a place where you feel comfortable and then stick to it and have fun.
Peter Sperling, CTV News.
We want to remind you, if you are in crisis or distress, please go to the nearest hospital or call 911. You can also call the Suicide Crisis Helpline 988 toll-free at any time. In more consumer news, the new trade deal between Canada and China covers a wide range of sectors, but Premier Doug Ford has stayed focused on planned rule changes for electric vehicle imports. This morning, Ford was joined by stakeholders in the auto industry who backed his concerns around the federal government's pledge to slash tariffs on nearly 50,000 Chinese EVs each year. The Premier has called it a terrible deal and said it would come at the expense of Canadian workers and the Ontario auto industry. Today, Ford said if decisions are being made about the auto sector, he'd like to see the federal government consult with him along with other key players much more, and he doesn't want people to buy them when they come on the market.
You know, maybe a few people might buy them, and I discourage anyone from buying a Chinese vehicle. But if they decide to do that, at what cost? Is it at the cost to your neighbor down the street that's working in the auto sector that he's not going to have or she's not going to have a job? You got to look at more of a Team Canada approach.
Canada had been imposing a 100% tariff on Chinese-made EVs since 2024 in lockstep with the United States. Ford plans to sit down with Carney and other premiers next week. When we return, a final look at the forecast, and Canada's WNBA team releases a much-anticipated schedule. Stay with us. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass sky cam. It is -5 right now. Again, watch out for the wind chill. And let's check back in with Jackie for a final look at the weather.
Well, -3 is what we're starting off our morning with, and that will be the warmest it gets. It's going to feel closer to -9 when you factor in the wind chill. The gusts up to 40 kilometers per hour there, so there may be some blowing snow moving through, especially since we are anticipating some light flurries throughout our Thursday. Daytime high -3 will dip down to -14 for the overnight. Friday only getting to a daytime high of -13, and then we're in a stretch of, yes, very cold days. -18 for Saturday, Sunday, with overnight lows closer to -30. Stefan.
Thank you for that, Jackie. Finally for us tonight, Canada's only team set to join the WNBA is releasing its schedule for the franchise's inaugural season. The Toronto Tempo will host their first ever game at Coca-Cola Coliseum on May 8th against the Washington Mystics, provided the league and players' union reach a new collective bargaining agreement. Tickets can't be bought yet, but fans who want to catch the WNBA in Toronto can sign up online for pre-sale access. But the team will also play in other Canadian cities like Montreal in July and Vancouver in August. The Tempo still do not have a roster. An expansion draft is expected in the coming weeks. Very exciting times. That is CTV News for this Wednesday, January 21st. CTV News continues online anytime with our digital team keeping you up to date at ctvnewsottawa.ca. You can also watch our newscast live on the News app anytime. And for News on the Go, listen to News Talk Radio 580 CFRA. For all of us here at CTV News, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful night. Stay safe.